Hey, my name is Lizzie Smiley, and I absolutely love helping people connect with their calling and all the tools they need to kick roadblocks and excuses right out the door so they can cultivate the life they dream about. If you want to launch, grow, pivot, or scale your Etsy shop, or you've always wanted to develop the mindset and skills to run your own business, then I'm your girl. I've had that entrepreneurial spirit going strong since my very first lemonade stand, and now I'm a work-at-home mama with multiple online companies and a full-time Etsy shop, all while being present with my kids for the everyday chaos and most important milestones. On this podcast, we'll talk about all things business, mindset, Etsy, creativity, dazzling our customers, and so much more. There's plenty of room at this table for you, so scooch on in and let's go. I'm holding nothing back. Welcome to How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. I'm so glad you're here. Hey, you guys, how are you this week? It is good to be back behind the mic and hanging out with you. And I'm also excited because I'm obsessed with our guest today. She's become a friend of mine. She is so full of wisdom. She's kind of like my business mom. I go to Julie when I have questions, and she's just like, several years in her business ahead of me, and she helps me so much. She's awesome. So I also need to tell you up front that I pulled such a Lizzie today and went rogue. I went totally off, but I actually think we ended up with a really rich conversation and full of little gold dust for you guys to pick up. Today's episode's all about social media. So a lot of you have been asking, how can you take your Etsy shop into your own hands? And yes, we love the Etsy algorithm. We love the marketplace of millions and millions of shoppers. And we love being able to build our own brands and send people our way too. Some of us do. I know that you can make Etsy work totally just on the marketplace. And if that works for you, that is awesome. But a lot of folks really want to be able to build a brand that they're ultimately going to take to their own website as well. So social media is a really important part of that. So today we have my good friend Julie Oxendine, and she is an established craft and home decor expert with a large following, teaching and inspiring her audience how to create beauty in their spaces for every occasion. I know she does partnerships with Hobby Lobby. It's so cool. Her humble beginnings created a drive to succeed, and as a result, she has been an icon of encouragement and motivation for others to do the same. She posts new wreath tutorials on her YouTube channel every week for viewers to follow along and hosts frequent giveaways of her products. She's collaborated with Hobby Lobby, SureBonder, Amazon, and more, and has been featured in Country Sampler magazine. She can be found on every social media platform, where she has a combined total of over 1.8 million followers. Do you see why I listen to her social media advice? She's so good. 1.8 million followers across her social media channels. She's built over 7 revenue streams, a couple of them being passive. She's had over 10,000 sales on Etsy. She's had numerous content pieces go viral on all the social media. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on. Here's why, you guys know me now. I'm not your flashy, Gen Z. I love Gen Z. My stepdaughters are Gen Z, but I am not that. And I am not your flashy influencer. You know me, I'm campy. I'm like your girl next door. I'm like your granola girl, rarely wears makeup. You see me on TikTok, I look like a hot mess. And I really love the authenticity of that. I have no problem with the other spectrum of things. I'm just saying, I show up as me, and I love when other people show up as them, whatever that might look like. I'm so here for that, because I think our world needs each person's brand. That's the beauty and diversity of it all, right? Julie embodies just being yourself on bringing yourself to the table and finding your people on social media. And that's why she creates such huge success. And that's why she attracts so many followers. She is so relatable. She is so down to earth. And here's the thing though, she does it in a way where when you listen to her, you're not going to feel like, I could never do that. I think she's going to make you feel like, oh, I can totally do this. And I'm now excited and I see a pathway forward. So we are going to talk all things social media. We're going to talk about different platforms and things that are working. She's sharing things that I didn't even know yet about updates that recently happened. We're going to talk about how sometimes it's a little scary on social media because, you worry about the hate and all of that. And we're going to talk about what platforms work the best for Etsy and a bunch of other things because, like I said, I went totally off script. So that's me for you. But anyway, let's dig right on in. I think you're going to love it. I can't wait to hear your feedback about this. Help me welcome Julie to the podcast today. Julie, hi.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Welcome back to the podcast. If I'm gonna be honest, I've wanted to ask you 50 times since then. It could just be you and me every single week, but I've had self-control.
Oh, I love it. You know, I would come back every week.
We'd have fun, but social media is so interesting and ever changing. And literally, maybe you do need a podcast, Julie. You were telling me before, maybe you need one because there's so much you could talk about.
Oh, you want to put another thing to do on my to-do list?
From one business owner to another. No, I don't. I was just thinking, wow, there is a lot you could talk about though.
There is.
So everyone should be remembering you from last time because you came on and you shared your incredible story. And it was very different from this episode because we talked much more Etsy.
Yes.
And your Etsy story and how you built that. But then it was also here, let's sprinkle in social media. And this time, I want to go hard in the social media.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay. So just because there are a lot of new people here, and by the way, they're all charming. They're going to love you. You're going to love them. I have the most wonderful people on the planet who listen. But let's give them a little recap of your story so that we're all in the boat on the same page.
Okay. Well, I started in, I want to say the fall of 2015. And literally, I had two littles at the time. I have older kids, but we kind of got a second chance at building our family. So we've been married a long time. And my husband was always about, he kept saying, honey, we need to start a business so that when you lose money on it, we can take it off of our taxes. We'll save money on our taxes. And I'm like, okay. And so I remember seeing wreaths in Facebook groups, and people would show a picture of a wreath and they would say, hey, can anybody make this wreath? And I'd be like, I could make that. And so I just sat down and thought, okay, I can make wreaths. I can do this. So sat down at my kitchen table, came up with a name, made sure I don't know why, but I made sure that the name wasn't on the other places. I could get into Etsy and you could get into Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram.
Smart. Yes.
Yeah, because you need to have the same name. That is the biggest mistake. If you're making a business right now and you're opening it up, you have to have the same name on all the platforms. You don't want to make it harder for people to find you. So that's how Julie's Wreath Boutique got born. And that day, a friend contacted me and said, hey, do you want to do my event? I said, sure. I went to the event a month later. I sold $700 worth of stuff. And I was hooked. People were buying my stuff. I mean, I'd never thought anybody would ever buy my crafts, but I wasn't even selling them on Etsy at this point. I didn't start selling on Etsy until February of 2016, my wreaths. I had it under a different name. So my shop looks older than it actually is, but I didn't really sell anything. I was selling some jewelry, but, anyways, I got to the point of tax season. So I started in October, the 1st of October, made it to December. And I was so proud of myself because I sold $3,000 worth of stuff.
Wow.
And I did my taxes in January and figured out I spent $2,500. And I worked really hard for 3 months and made $500. And so this was where I was like, wow, okay, this has got to change. And I remember that very day praying and saying, Lord, I can't do this if this business isn't going to change my family's life. Literally, I have to change my family's life because it was all that time and that work and that effort, and it was very little payback. So literally that day, God started putting everything into motion. I was added to a Facebook group. I have to this day have no idea how I even got into it. I ended up thinking after that prayer, because I was taking a shower at the time and thinking, you should do another center option for that sunflower wreath you just made. And so I posted the 2 different sunflowers in this Facebook group. And It went nuts. The people in it went nuts. If I had known how Facebook worked, I would have been able to sell probably 100 wreaths because my messages was just full of message requests, and I had no idea how Messenger worked back then.
Oh my goodness.
So from that point, there was a blogger that was in that same group, and I knew who this blogger was because I had seen her stuff on Pinterest and I loved it. And I wanted to do some of her stuff in my little boy's room. So when she reached out to me, I knew who she was right away. She was in the UK and she said, would you be willing to do a tutorial for my website of that sunflower? And I said, yes, I'll do it. I told my husband, he said, you can't tell everybody how you did that. And I said, yes, I can. So we went from him saying, we need a business so that you can lose money and we'll save money on our taxes, to you can't show everybody how you do something. And I'm like, yeah, I can.
You can't, because people like me will never make our own. We will always buy yours every day.
And that's what people don't understand. There are different customers for what you do. And so anyways, I did the tutorial for her, and like a month later, she puts it up on her website. It goes viral, ends up on all these websites, ends up on goodhousekeeping.com, ends up that Country Sampler magazine contacts me within that month and says, would you design a wreath for our Christmas magazine edition? So I did that for them. And so that just kind of put me in the wreath making business. And I was getting orders left and right, not because I was doing my social media well, because I wasn't. It wasn't until the December of 2016 that I was like, you know what? You probably should start paying attention to your Facebook page because you just didn't post for a month. And I started to be more consistent. And I had no idea that there were business coaches out there. I had no idea that there were wreath groups out there. None of this. And that was the point where I started taking it all serious. And so I never thought I'd be on YouTube. Here I am on YouTube. We just passed the 350,000 subscriber mark on YouTube. And we have 785,000 people following us now on Facebook. So we just went from here thinking that I'm just going to make a little extra money every month to I'm sitting in a studio that we're building and finishing up. It's not quite finished. And my husband will be retiring later this year. So
how are those tax write-offs going, hubby? How's that going for you?
I know. I was like, I needed more. And I just built a studio and I still needed more. It was painful. Tuesday, April 18th was painful about how much money I had to give back to the IRS.
Isn't that the worst part of it?
It is. Because you're just like, I hate it.
At the same time, I'm glad it's like better that we're holding on to it rather than them making the interest on us all year. But but still, oh my gosh. You know what? The way that you I've obviously heard your story a couple more than once before. Mm-hmm. Something about it hit different. In a way, I feel like social media chose you.
That's a good way to think about it.
I've never put two and two together before, but it's like you kind of stumbled into it and then harnessed it. This is how it works though, isn't it? I mean, because I love the evolution of your business of, I'm like going to events and selling some wreaths. Okay, now I'm going to get online and sell some wreaths. Now I'm going to sell tutorials because this is a whole digital passive income stream and people really want the tutorials. And now I'm going to actually show people how I've grown. Like, I love the progression you embody, like what I think everyone needs to have their own path, but I think that's what we should all be looking for is this is wherever we're at as a stepping stone to the next thing. So I think this is perfect. And now I get it. Now I get the bigger picture because social media picked you. So tell us more. I want to get into the weeds here about the point where you were like, wow, my stuff is going crazy on Facebook. Maybe I should be leveraging this. Can we talk more about that moment when you decided to switch that and what maybe some of that strategy looked like to start harnessing it?
Well, at first I didn't know what I was doing. Had no clue what I was doing.
Where we all started.
And then I think I just was riding the wave of the things that were going on viral on Pinterest and viral on Facebook. And when I look at the picture of that sunflower wreath that went viral, it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. I would never even sell a wreath that looks like that now. But I do think that's a good way. I'm the type of person, though, that if I'm going to do something, it's like a game to me.
Same.
So I want to figure it out. And, I think what people forget is they might make an Etsy listing, and then and yes, Etsy is great at getting people to your product, but you kind of have a responsibility. I mean, you wouldn't like make a roast and, do all the fixings on it and put it on the oven and not turn the oven on. I mean, it's like, okay, yes, the oven has the capability of making it, but you still have to turn it on.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that you need to work and find your audience. Cause I hear the thing all the time from people, and I kind of roll my eyes on the inside. I would never do that to anybody personally, but I get tired of hearing the market is oversaturated.
Oh, it's not.
It's not, because you haven't found your people.
Yes.
Everybody has different people because not everybody has the same aesthetic. So when I have people that may honestly just follow my page because I post a lot of funny stuff and relatable stuff.
You do. It's a lot of fun to follow.
I love to do that because I mean, that's what I live for. I like that kind of thing. But then they're like, oh, she makes this and I want to learn how to make that. And so they go watch me, or I say, hey, you can get this product from such and such a place, and they buy it, and I make money from that with an affiliate thing, but it's only products that I love. And it's just like this circle. So even though somebody follows me and they don't think that they'll ever buy from me, you're giving them the potential to build that relationship. And I think that people miss that you need to treat your social media as if it's a relationship to finding your people. And when you build that trust, when they do need that product that you sell, you're going to be the first person they think of. You're going to be the person that they're going to order from because they trust you and they know you. And it's going to be a lot easier to let go of that money because they know who you are. You have integrity. You show up on a daily basis, and they feel like they know you. They feel like they could go out to dinner with you.
Yes.
So that's what social media gives us that we never had 25 years ago. And it's just like, it's just the possibilities are endless.
So when you started kind of getting more of a plan around your Facebook strategy,
Mm-hmm.
did you initially get like a pretty big bump from all of those things going viral? Or was it more just a light bulb went off and then you had to go build it, or you had to start leveraging it? How did that work? Was it like a landslide of people?
Right. No.
That's what I thought. Like you, yeah.
I started, and because I didn't know how to leverage my Facebook back then, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
So if I had leveraged it, yeah, I might be, where I am today a few years ago. But I'll be honest, I've gained, I want to say, let me do the math. I've gained almost 500,000 followers in the last,
like since we last talked,
6 or 7 months.
Like not talked, but on here. Yeah.
Yeah. In the last 6 or 7 months.
Yeah. Which means, oh my gosh.
Because, and I know exactly why I got that. And I'll tell you more about that in a minute if you want to know.
Yeah, I obviously want to know.
But, because I didn't do Facebook ads to get that either. I didn't spend money.
Okay.
So, anyway.
I love that you are restructuring this whole discussion because now you've got me on the edge of my seat and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for it.
Okay. So, what were we talking about?
I mean, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. We were talking about, I just wanted to know if cause here's the thing. I know I know
what you said.
People, well, they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, her stuff went viral. Like, of course her social media took off.
20,000 followers overnight.
No, and you did not at all.
Mm-hmm. No, I probably got about 1,500 to 2,000 is probably more the mark. And that's a lot of people. I mean, when you think about it, when you sit in a stadium and you think about how many people are in there, that's still a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to say that, like, oh, I had 2,000. And it is a lot of people, but it wasn't until I started putting the effort into it, putting the effort into Pinterest. I started a Facebook group for wreath makers, and I used that to sell tutorials. It just started growing, and I was very consistent. If you're not consistent at anything, you're not going to be successful at it.
Yes.
You have to be consistent. That's just the key here. So, but if you want to know what I've seen is that there are seasons. There was a season on Facebook where it was all about Facebook Lives. That season, that
is it over? I hope so. Thank goodness.
That ship has sailed. I never liked Facebook Lives.
No.
I do them occasionally when I need to do them to promote, Julie's Biz Boutique. But this is just the way my mind thinks and where I'm at now. My time is valuable and I want to use it the right way because I have a family and I have some days I feel like I'm working all the time, but I also have days where like, hey, let's go do this. Let's, I was telling you, I'm going to be gone for the month of May. I'm going to be home 10 days. I'm traveling the whole month. It's ridiculous, but that's what having this business gives me. So consistency is key. But like I said, where the lives were really good, then it kind of changed over to more the Facebook group thing was like more,
yes. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups. Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were trying to build community, which is great. And then TikTok showed up on the scene and they just knocked everybody down.
Yep. TikTok's my favorite.
Yep. And I feel like Facebook was the last to respond. Instagram got on the bandwagon right away and they started the reels. They started short video content. And we probably talked about that the last time I talked to you.
Yeah.
But what I feel like is that Facebook in the last year finally got on the scene with their reels.
Come on, Zuckerberg.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we need to do that. It's like, can you guys not put this together faster? Because I'm just like blown away that it took you forever. I think they get a little complacent because they think, oh, well, we'll be here forever. And you probably will be, Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay? You probably will be.
Yeah.
But they showed up on the scene with the reels. And then they started the reels at 30 seconds, which I was like, it is not worth my time. I don't do 30-second reels. That's just because of the kind of reels I do. And then the minute reel kicked in.
That was good.
And then what they did was they added the bonuses and they were paying people. They're not paying people anymore, except if you have ads on your reels. But what happened was, my husband says this all the time because he's not on TikTok. He goes, Facebook is trying to TikTok me. And they are. They're definitely trying to TikTok you. And so what happened?
What does that mean?
Well, because the TikTok universe, it's that, you're swiping and watching.
You keep scrolling.
And now Facebook is doing the same thing. Once you start watching a reel, you go to the next reel.
Next reel. Okay.
And so that's why he says Facebook.
Making up words or verbs, new verbs.
Exactly. So
trying to TikTok me.
Yeah. So anyways, what I did was I just started using really the content I was putting on TikTok.
Yes.
I was uploading it to Facebook, even with the TikTok logo on it. People were loving it. They were following me. And then I figured out, you use this app called
Snaptic.
Yes, Snaptic.
Snaptic app. I'll put that in the show notes for you guys. I use it constantly.
Yeah. You have to take off the TikTok logo. You don't want to use that on Instagram. You don't want to use that on Pinterest, all that stuff.
Because they won't show your video as much if you have it on there, right, Julie? Okay.
Exactly. And so I changed my music. I changed my voiceover, depending, because not all platforms can use the same music. So
what'll happen? Will they take it down? I haven't been doing that.
Yes, they will either take it down or they won't monetize it. So with Facebook right now, with Facebook, this is what makes me mad with Facebook. Facebook needs to do better, is that they will say, this is the music that's available to you. And then you pick their music that's available to you. And then you publish it. And then they say, oh, this video can't be monetized due to copyright issues.
Oh, no.
So, because I still make money on the ads on Reels. I don't get paid the bonuses anymore, but I still make a good chunk of change from the ads. So that's always frustrating.
Any of that. Like I always I just do it for the, just to introduce people to the podcast.
Which is what you need to do. What you need to do. But
and same with our sellers, right? Like for the most part, they're just trying to get their products in front of people. Right. It's a bit different game.
But if you're trying to entertain people and you might as well make an extra $500 a month. I know people who are making thousands on it.
If you guys haven't jumped onto the Everbee bandwagon yet, this is your sign to check it out ASAP. If you haven't heard of it before, Everbee is a free tool that can help you find trends, products, and niches that are hot sellers on Etsy right now. I personally use it in tandem with Sales Samurai because they do totally different things. And I literally don't think I could compete in the current Etsy marketplace today without it or help you guys as effectively. Everbee gives me so much information that I can't glean just from studying Etsy. All you need is a laptop or desktop. You can't do it on your phone, so you do need a laptop or whatever, a Google Chrome browser, a quick install of the Everbee extension. And for my tech challenge friends, I promise you it's super simple. And then you will gain access to a whole new world of data about your niche and competitors. So this is a tool I use every single day for my own Etsy shop research, for coaching calls that I do with you guys all the time, for shop reviews I do for you guys all the time. And just as I work on growing my personal mastery of Etsy, these tools have become so instrumental in getting the results that I do. And I mean, I can still use my old school tactics. I still use them, but I don't use them alone anymore because it's a whole different ball game. So these guys have just been a game changer for me. I use Everbee to learn everything about bestsellers and high performing listings. It shows me, okay, I'm going to give you a rundown. It shows me how many sales a shop makes from each listing. I can see how many they've sold of it, how much money that listing has made them or is earning them every month, how old the listing is, like how early did they get on that trend, what their tags are and how competitive those tags are. It gives me an at a glance view of all the shop data, which sometimes I can't otherwise find, and like the competitor listing data that I need to help my students and myself find ways to penetrate the market. So like I said before, Etsy has a totally free version, like not just a free trial. There is a free version so everyone can get access to it. Down in the show notes, I have a link to their site for you so you can check it out. And I also included a quick YouTube tutorial to show you exactly how I use it, because sometimes like the barrier to entry is trying to figure out new technology. So I got you. Just go watch. It's a quick video. It'll show you how to navigate it. So if you don't have it yet, get Everbee, jump on that today. I'm so excited for you to get this edge on the market. You're going to love it. It's a game changer. Literally, guys, I have gone rogue. This is the worst. And the good news is that Julie is fluent in Lizzie, so she can deal with me. I'm sorry. I need to know, I know I've got to use Snaptic to take the logo off, but how do you take the music off?
Well, it kind of depends on what kind of video you make. Now, when I make a video, all you see is my hands making the craft.
Yes.
And here's the thing that people kind of need to get over is that unless it's like the super secret method of making something, people enjoy the story.
Yeah.
And they just want to watch the story. And then at the end, they want to go buy your product. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched TikToks and I've bought products from people.
Yeah, it's bad.
And so it's like, I got to stop watching TikTok at night. My wallet will thank me for it. But you need to tell a story, connect with your people, and they just love to watch the process. It doesn't mean that they want to go make it themselves. Are there people that are going to try? Yeah. And they're going to spend way too much money.
Way more money.
And they're not going to be able to make it. And then they're going to order it from you anyway.
I love that. No scarcity.
Exactly. So, but I started doing these reels like right as Facebook went from 30 seconds to 1 minute. And that was around last summer, and things went viral for me. I was having video after video, and usually it was over content that was over a year old. So my page was growing exponentially just because of Facebook Reels.
Okay, so guys, if you are not, I know I am spider webbing us constantly here, but what Julie just said is so important for you. If you make a product, even if it's a digital product, you need to show the process of making it in Reels and then put it everywhere, because it's that people get into. And I know we're like, oh, this is grandma's recipe. I can't give you the ingredients. Oh my gosh, give the ingredients, because the majority of people are still going to come buy it, but they're actually going to be more passionate about it because they got to watch you make it. Yeah. So am I characterizing that right? I just want to like a teaching moment here. Make sure that's what you're doing.
You have to remember with Reels on Facebook right now, okay, it's getting into its toddler stage. Last summer was its infancy stage.
That is unreal. We are so like TikTok. We've been doing this for years, and Facebook is just
right. And TikTok was already doing it, but do you know how many people that are, let's say, on Facebook that are never going to download TikTok?
Yeah, I know, a lot.
And those are the people who are following me because they never had TikTok.
Yeah. It's like me just getting on the fashion trends from 5 years ago. I get
it. I love that. But you have to realize that when you give a platform like Facebook a reason for people to stay, they're going to push out your content more. When you are showing up every day posting, whether I don't like post a reel every day, I don't, but I post content every day. So if Facebook says, hey, we know that Julie will post content, they're going to push you out more. So, I mean, it's just, you've got to think about it. If you don't show up to a party and you show up to a party a week late, okay, is anybody going to be there? No. But if you show up to the party and have a good time and do what you're supposed to do, people are going to show up. So that's what posting on any platform is going to be like. That's what showing up on Instagram and showing up on TikTok and showing up on Pinterest. People, you're leaving money on the table when you're not using Pinterest. And a lot of people don't look at Pinterest as a social media, but I do, because they started the Ideal Pin. They have people talking to me all the time. If people are communicating with me on Pinterest, that's a social media. Yes, it's a very different kind of social media. But I mean, if you're not using that and those Ideal Pins and those Reels and those TikToks, it's all the same content. You're just feeding it to the different platforms on their platform, on their music.
Okay, real quick. Is it bad? I usually, if I post something to Instagram, I have it auto post to Facebook. Is that a no-no? Don't do that. You want to manually go to Facebook because you want them to feel like they're, even though it's the same company, can they just get over themselves? No. I feel like this is like junior high insecurity.
They don't play well together. And it doesn't make any sense, because I don't understand why Instagram had the Reels option so much faster than Facebook. And they have so much better music than Facebook has. So when I do a Reel, some of those Reels will not share over to Facebook because of the music. Okay, so it's just like, can you guys not work together? But they're in it for the money. You know what I mean? They're paying copyright fees in Facebook, and they're all wanting to pay different fees, and they're all trying to, you know.
I mean, I get it. We're also protecting artists that way. Right. So I get that. So Julie, do you record on your phone? Because I always record mine in TikTok, and then I use Snaptic. But it sounds like maybe I shouldn't be doing that because of the music. Well,
it depends on what you're doing. So if you're on Instagram and let's say that you make an Instagram Reel, okay? There is a little arrow with, I think, a line underneath of it. Before you publish on Instagram, you're going to click download.
Oh, okay.
And don't add any music to it. Okay. Yeah. So before you add your music, so if it's you talking about, you know, your new podcast, all right, and you're talking about, hey, we're going to do this, don't have any music on it yet. You haven't added your music, but it's you're talking. Maybe you want to add the captions. Captions are always a great idea because people, you know, I don't have a hearing problem anymore. I did have one years ago and I had surgery, but I read the captions. I find myself reading the captions whether or not I need them or not.
If the kids are around, and I don't know if the F-bomb's going to be dropped because we're living in 2023, I'm only using the captions. Or the baby's napping. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So download that off of Instagram, and then you've got the content. But if you download that with the music, you won't have any sound. And so you've got to remember that. So before you add sound to that Instagram Reel, or I don't know if TikTok, because I never make TikTok.
No, I got to do it the other way around. On TikTok, you can't do that. You can't even access it until it's not just been published, but has gone through their like review process. Right. It's so annoying. But I always record everything over there and then repurpose it. I need to just record it on Instagram and then put it over.
Yes, I would definitely do it on Instagram. And then you take that. And then if Pinterest has gotten better about their music, Facebook's music is so. But again, if you're looking for ads, if you're not doing ads on your Reels, then this doesn't matter. You go with their music. Then YouTube is starting to really push them too. And you're getting paid. If you're monetized on YouTube, they will pay you for your shorts now.
About Pinterest, you kind of alluded to this. I love idea pins, and I I'll take my my Reels or my TikToks. I basically go TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and then Pinterest, and I'll do many of them as an idea pin, but also as a video pin. Is that the right? Did you agree with that strategy, or would you tweak it a bit?
I've not done many video pins on Pinterest, only idea pins. Yeah.
You do the idea pins.
Yes, because I send them to, but honestly, the ideal pins, I have the option of join a 5-minute pin now. I just haven't done it. And I thought, well, maybe I should make a bow video or something, you know. But did you know that you can put a link to your idea pins now?
No.
I just figured it out the other day. You have to do it after you make your idea pin. You can't do it on your mobile app. You got to go to your computer, and you can do it that way. You can edit it. So once you've created that ideal pin, then go into that ideal pin that's been published, go to edit, and then you're going to see a spot to put a destination link.
Oh my gosh, that changes the game. I can't believe they gave in. I can't believe they gave in.
They had to, you know why? Because they stopped paying us. Because I don't know, were you in the Pinterest?
No, I never. I'm always late to the game on this stuff. See, this is what I need to do in my life.
I made a nice bit of change there last year. But I knew all that kind of thing isn't going to last forever because what they do is they use these creator funds and they pay you for a time until they get you used to doing it. And they're going to say, okay, Julie will keep doing pens because her page is growing, you know what I mean? Or reels.
Mm-hmm.
So, they know we're going to keep making them. They're, I was not shocked when Facebook stopped paying, when Pinterest stopped paying, when Instagram stopped paying, but because they've trained us to do it for them. And that's what they're going to do.
It all just keeps changing, but this is why we need you in our life. So what are these all the best platforms to be using for an Etsy shop? Like, would you be hitting all of them and sort of like leveraging some of the same content? Or I know we need to focus on Pinterest. Like,
yes.
What would you suggest?
I talk to so many people on a weekly basis, and I'm like, I always ask them, what is your Pinterest game like? Because Pinterest is a game. You can't just go on Pinterest and spam it with just your content. You have to share other people's content as well. It's like a chess game. It goes back and forth.
That's good to know. Okay.
But Pinterest, at one point when I was selling wreaths, because I don't even sell wreaths anymore, I just sell the tutorials on Etsy. I stopped selling the wreaths because I just don't have the time to manufacture it all, and to do YouTube and to do Julie's Biz Boutique. I don't have it. And, but basically about 70% of my income was coming from Pinterest, just making the pens. Just making the pens. So I think, Pinterest is a must. And then I would say pick two, and it can't be Instagram and Facebook. You need to say Facebook and TikTok, or TikTok and Instagram, and you can leave Facebook alone if you want. I don't think it's a good idea. I feel like the TikTok crowd is leaving Facebook off, but I think that they're forgetting that there's money on Facebook.
That would be me. I don't use Facebook at all.
There's money there. You can build relationships and you can build communities there. But it depends on what your thing is. If your thing is Instagram and TikTok, then do it. You know what I'm saying? But do them both at the same time. Don't favor one over the other. With TikTok, it's such a good way. It's kind of opened the doors of people to kind of see how things are made and kind of build an audience quickly. But the audience isn't building as quick there as it was a few years ago.
I know.
Don't join TikTok and think I'm going to be at 10,000 in a month, because you're probably.
Well, do you think they're going to go away? Do you think we're going to lose TikTok? There's like a real chance, right?
There is. I took the time and I downloaded all of my videos off of TikTok just to be careful, just to be sure I didn't lose that content, because that's my money. That's my content. And do I think they're going to go away? I think another company would buy them before they went away. But I also kind of feel like we're learning that Facebook has a hand in trying to make them the evil ones.
Oh, of course. It's so.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. They had a little bit of a hand to it, but I don't know. It's just, you
couldn't possibly, but I'm just curious what you're hearing in the.
I have kind of backed away from TikTok a little bit, probably because of last fall. I ended up having to do an ad for a campaign I was doing for one of my, whatever you call it, products that I work for or do stuff for. And I feel like once I placed that ad, then they wanted me to do ads for nothing got the views anymore.
No.
For the longest time. Now I'm seeing my views come back. So I need to post some more. But I'm like, guys, I'm not paying to play. We're not doing that. You know what I mean? So I'll never advertise on TikTok again. Never.
Isn't that sneaky that you do it once and then they think they've got you? Yeah. That's really good to know. That's like a really good insider tip.
Yeah. No, I would not do the advertising on TikTok.
So how do you manage? I feel like it can get really discouraging sometimes with all of the changes, and you could be making really good headway somewhere and then something like that happens, or the algorithm shifts. Yeah. How do you manage? Obviously when we're in business, our lives are, I don't really believe in, I don't actually think we compartmentalize. We might think we compartmentalize, but everything affects everything else in one way or another. Right?
Yes.
So I know that in business, we need to try and not be super emotional. We just need to pivot. We need to just use our reasoning brain rather than our emotional, fight or flight brain. How do you manage that though? Because I know I've had those moments before where I'm like, oh my gosh, this like everything's stopped. Like, what am I going to do? Those moments of panic, it's the perfect analogy. Just like on Etsy, when we go through a slow season and we just came out of and we're like, what happened? Like, why did all my sales stop? Okay. So I want to know how you manage that with like the social media changes and how you help your students with that.
Well, I want you to know that not everything on social media stays the same. So when you approach it with your business, you need to kind of go into it knowing that you are going to have seasons where you're going to be high on the mountain and then you're going to be in the valley. And sometimes those valleys are a really good place to be, to re-examine what you're doing, to take a step back and say, okay, something isn't working like it did. So how do we fix this? And like I said, I always study what other people do on social media. I don't copy what they do on social media, but I'm always like studying like, okay, what are they doing that makes them successful?
Mm-hmm.
And I took that, that aspect back when I first started. I would follow people and be like, okay, so what are they doing that I don't have? And then just implement my own style of doing it. But I think that you also need to understand that when things slow down and when things are not going the way that you want, then that's your opportunity to change the direction and give that opportunity. Okay, so I need to study more. I need to find out. You don't know what you don't know. Okay. And sometimes, that's why I remember when I got my first coaching, Jennifer Allwood, then that's how we met. She became my first business coach because I had about 20,000 followers and I just felt like I hit a brick wall. Like I just didn't know what else to do. And it just like when I joined her group, it kind of got me through that wall and I could go forth. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't get discouraged. I also want people to know that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to let that bother you because you know what? Everybody's not going to like me and that's okay. But you have to come to terms with that. You have to say, I'm not going to be for everybody, just like you're not for everybody. You know, somebody that you see on the other side, like what you were talking about with the F-bombs on TikTok. You know, the person that's on TikTok and it's F-bomb this and all this.
Yeah.
That's not my person.
I love them. But
I don't want to sit and I don't want all that thrown in my direction. Does that make sense? It's not that I don't like them. They're just not my cup of tea. I'm a coffee girl. You know what I mean? I'm going to go find some coffee. So you have to use it as opportunity and not times to be depressed and be disappointed. And it's not about you. It's about algorithms. It's about seasons of life. It's about the economy. And it's like, okay, how do we get around that? Okay. So this product isn't selling. So what can I do that I can make a product that will sell? So I went from making wreaths because I figured out there was only so much I could do in a year's time.
Yes.
Me physically making wreaths.
Your hands. Yes.
Right. I was only going to make so much money. That's when the tutorials came and I started selling an evergreen product, a product that I can just, sell like that. It's just makes you money. And then, YouTube came into it and that became a little bit of a game. So there's always different seasons and I've been to 365 of them, it feels like now, but you have to look at it as an opportunity and not a disappointment. You know what I mean? You have to say, like you were in our group the other day and you were doing a thing and I thought it was really good. You're going to get to know when are your downtimes and you need to take advantage of those downtimes. Yes. Because sometimes you need to take a breath. Sometimes you need to know, okay, this is a downtime. So I need to prepare for that because maybe for me, April and May were huge months for me because of my flowers that I would make. And everybody wanted a flower for their front door for spring and everybody was tired. It just depends on the type of work you do, you know what I mean? And what product you offer. So you just need to take an account for that and know that sometimes it's okay to slow down, but you can still post on social media. You don't have to come up with brand new content every single day.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like people are missing out is they think that they have to have brand spanking new content every time they post, and you do not. You can recycle that every few months. You really can because not everybody's going to see it.
Hey, this podcast is brought to you by my free masterclass, How to Kickstart Your Etsy Shop. Do you have goals for your Etsy shop that aren't quite happening yet? Whether you're an Etsy hobbyist or have dreams for a full-time, replace your day job kind of business, there's definitely a learning curve to figuring out your own Etsy secret sauce. And I totally want to help you connect those dots and crack the Etsy code even faster. So I went ahead and made a free Etsy masterclass for you to start learning some of the critical pieces of the Etsy puzzle that will help you start getting those sales. My How to Kickstart Your Etsy Shop free masterclass will give you massive insights that will make your Etsy challenges feel like an old memory. I'm teaching you 2 myths that will hold you back if you buy in, 2 huge mistakes that most new sellers make, and 3 skills to master to become successful on Etsy. I can't wait to hear your quick wins that come out of this, you guys. You can grab it today. It's available on demand at howtosellyourstuff.com/masterclass. That's howtosellyourstuff.com/masterclass. I will see you there. You've brought this full circle and I love it. So here's one thing I want to say. I grew up a very insecure kid. We're going to have a little story time for just a second.
Okay.
I was made fun of really, really badly. And I did not have a great support system around that. And it made me a very insecure young adult. And I had to go through a lot of hard seasons to grow a thicker skin and not be extremely hurt by anything negative anyone said, because I would just internalize all of it. And so some of it's just been life experience. But I do get the objection a lot about social media from my listeners that they're very afraid of the hate.
Oh, yeah.
And I get that. But I will say a few things about that. First of all, I get very, very little of it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen as often as you think. And here's how I think about it, just in case this helps somebody. When you get some hate on social media, it's like road rage. So if you're on the road and you get really, really mad at someone, or someone gets really, really mad at you, because sometimes I just do dumb stuff in my car and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, thinking it. I'm like, they can't hear me. They have no idea. I'm sorry. But here's the thing. 2 minutes later, they forgot it even happened.
Yeah.
When I get mad at someone else because they cut me off, I forgot it even happened 2 minutes later. And it is the exact same thing with social media hate. Any altercation you have with someone, you don't have to think of it like road rage. It is literally over 2 minutes later. And you can always just delete it.
Yes. And you have to remember, people are braver behind a keyboard than they are to your face.
Even in a car steering wheel.
I love it. They are. And if that is what's keeping you from getting on social media, don't let that keep you. Because I had the same thoughts. I wouldn't do a Facebook Live forever, just for in fear of the trolls that would come.
Yes.
And honestly, I've had a handful of times where people have said mean things or did things, but it says more about them than it does you.
Yes.
And when somebody can sit and say such a hateful comment or a mean comment or rude, I think sometimes people don't know that they're being rude.
True.
And then you let them know. But don't let that keep you from doing it, because that's them stealing your joy. That's other people. That's the fear of something not allowing you to grow in what you are meant to grow in.
And I just think for me, I've gotten to the place where I just have no ego, which is why all of my videos, I'm usually barefaced on a walk. Sometimes people look at my stuff, other friends of mine who wanted to grow, and they're like, how did you grow your TikTok? And they look at it and they're like, you're just walking but I'm just yeah. Because I don't care what people think. Absolutely. And here's the thing. It's because I love them anyway. It doesn't I'm just full of joy and love. I don't care what you think. Yeah. But not I don't care. It's just no, you're okay. You know what it is? I'm really okay with you being you.
Yeah.
And you feeling how you need to feel. Yeah. And I'm really good with it. Okay. So there's that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is that what you just talked about, not the before I brought up the insecurity part again, but about the changes and riding the waves of the algorithm and all of that. Mm-hmm. This is why I like being in your membership, because I don't necessarily have the time or the expertise to really dig into the weeds and figure out what is working now. But I know I can just come to your monthly stuff and it's right there for me. It's completely worth it. And the community part, if I do feel oh, I'm having this problem, I can go find 100 other people who understand where I'm coming
Yeah.
from, and we can work on it together. So like the community factor, and then like just the work you're doing for me of figuring out what's working is so, so valuable. So would you mind, I know we got to wrap up here. Would you mind just telling people a little bit about your coaching membership? And I mean,
Yes.
it's so awesome. It's one of my favorite things that I'm a part of.
Oh, thank you so much. So basically, I wanted to have a community where I could take out some of the questions and what do I do here and how do I do this, and kind of take out the frustration of having an online business and how does social media works, and kind of giving you a blueprint. So we have many Facebook trainings, we have Instagram, we have Pinterest, we have even Etsy. Why it's important to have an email list. We go even beyond social media. Yeah. But, and we do, like tonight, we're going to do Join Julie on Zoom, and it gives people an opportunity to get on a Zoom phone call with me and ask me whatever it is that they're having to struggle with. And what's interesting is that you hear somebody ask a question and you're like, oh yeah, I have that issue too. I didn't know I had that issue, but I have that issue. So I have a team that works with me. We have 3 people that are on my team for this group, and we can help you get to the point that it's not a frustration. It's like, okay, here's the plan. What are you doing here? And what I want to do is, okay, guys, social media doesn't have to be that difficult, but you have to start.
Yes.
And we also help people who've been doing this for years. And it's like, they were like me, they were like hitting a brick wall. Like, what do I do next? Because I've been doing it on my own for so long, and I've had success or I haven't had success, and I just need to figure this out. And that's where Julie's Biz Boutique comes in. And we have monthly trainings, on all sorts of different things. And honestly, if you guys have questions or whatever, you can post in the group. We try to get you your answers, and we just have a community. We do about 4 trainings a month. And we've been doing it for over a year now. And once you join the group, you can access the last year's worth of training.
Yeah, it's insane. The library's insane.
Oh yeah, it's over 50 trainings. So, we have, if there's a topic, we've probably already discussed it. Whether it's about shipping or feeling overwhelmed, or, what is Tailwind in Pinterest? You know what I mean? How do I work that to my advantage? Or, Canva training. And then of course the social media, at least once a month I get in there and I'm like, okay, this is what's going on. Like, what's trending now in social media, because things are always changing.
Yeah.
So it's like, I need to get that in front of you guys. Like Instagram just came out. They're going to let us have 5 links in our bio. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. It's not rolled out yet, but they're going to let us have 5 links in our bio, which is amazing. And they had to do something for losing our bonuses. They had to make us some money somewhere. So now you're going to have 5 links, which will be so amazing, because then you can have your podcast link, your Etsy link, your website link, all of these different links. So those are the kind of things that you find out first in Julie's Biz Boutique, because it's my job to make sure that I teach you what you need to know. And I have this passion. I'll be honest. When I talked about the beginning of the story, I know I'm going on a really long time, but
I love it.
I was a mom with 2 littles at home, and we were just making ends meet. And we have been able to go from there to here. And it's just mind blowing. It's just mind blowing. And I have that passion to help other stay-at-home moms. And we have men in our group too. So it's not just women. It's not just women, because I have a couple guys that'd be upset with me right now. But maybe you're going into retirement and you're like, okay, I love to craft, but I can't keep crafting and not do anything with it. You need to make it work for your advantage, or you've been doing it for a while. So I like to help. I like to see that people's lives can be changed.
What you have built is completely insane. I think I've used that word a lot of times already, and that's fine. It's amazing. I can't believe your follower base, and they are so passionate and loyal. And what I love, Julie, is that you do it from such an authentic place. Like, I think a lot of people think like, I don't want to be an influencer. I can't be and I'm not like that. And I'm not fashion. I'm like, well, first of all, neither am I. But like, Julie, you're just so down to earth. And I think you show us that like we can be ourselves and be really effective at it. Yeah. So here's the deal, guys. Julie's, her Biz Boutique group, it only opens up a couple times a year. It's not just open all the time, which makes sense because you've got to have an onboarding kind of process for people and have the capacity to help them figure out what's going on in the group. But we do have our own link for just the How to Sell Your Stuff family that she's given us. So you can get in now if you want to join us over in there. I think test it out. I mean, people can turn it off at any time, right, Julie? It's not like any kind of commitment. It's just a month, like, a monthly membership. So if you have social media, I mean, get in there and get into the trainings, get in there and find out what's going on. I don't know about you, but I don't have the time to go do all the research I used to do that for a living when I was a social media manager. It changed daily.
Oh, it does. And then you're like, okay, so I learned all this for nothing because now I got to do something totally different.
It's totally different. So this is one way to just bypass all of that, plus get the training. And I know so many of you have been asking, how can I learn more about social media? I very confidently point you towards Julie. That's where I am for mine. So Julie, where can we all follow you? And obviously you're the one person I talk to who's everywhere. Yeah. Where would be your first place? If someone needed to pick one, where would you say come?
Oh, that's a hard one.
All the links are going to be in the bio. I'll tell everybody where.
YouTube. It just depends on what you love to do. I mean, it's just what platform you love. I'm on it. Julie's Wreath Boutique. There's nothing everywhere. It's the same. Julie's Wreath Boutique. Now there's Julie's Biz Boutique, but that's different. But I don't have a platform for that because I it's under the umbrella of Julie's Wreath Boutique.
It's the membership. So I'll have links for all of that. Get into her group while we've got this special link, which is so nice. And oh my gosh, I don't even know if we went over our list of questions, but I loved this conversation. Thank you so much for coming.
You're so welcome. Anytime.
Oh yeah, we'll have to keep you're just our household social media girl. So guys, send Julie some love. Go follow her. Go jump into her group with us if you want to come hang out. And we already said thank you. I don't even know. I'm just flabbergasted at how good this was. Y'all, I'll talk to y'all next week. And in the meantime, go make something awesome. Take care, guys. And that's a wrap on this episode of How to Sell Your Stuff on Etsy. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. If you're looking for more resources, head on over to howtosellyourstuff.com where you'll find podcast show notes, all the links from today's episode, the blog, courses, coaching, and more. If this episode was helpful to you, awesome. The greatest compliment I can receive from you is a rate, review, and subscribe on this podcast. Not only will it allow us to connect again on a future episode, it lets me know I'm providing you with value and helps other people find this content more easily. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your support. Have a great day and see you next time.